Hello, and thank you for your interest in learning more about VentureCat. My name is Sarah Stein, and I am the project manager that works in partnership with units across the university to host VentureCat each year. These units include the Donald Pritzker Entrepreneurial Law Center, the Farley Center for Entrepreneurship and Innovation, and the Entrepreneurship at Kellogg program, as well as the Garage. All right, so as many of you probably already know, VentureCat is Northwestern's annual cross-university student startup competition that takes place each May. And this session is meant to provide students with the information that they need to best prepare to apply. So the first thing I'd like to touch on is when students are thinking about applying to VentureCat, we like to let them know that it's okay to be earlier on. We typically see a range of developmental stages represented in the applications that are submitted. We will have teams that are in the earlier stages of still testing and validating kind of their problem and key assumptions about their business, all the way to teams who have already launched a product or service and may potentially be generating revenue. And while students, founders from across the spectrum are encouraged to apply, we do want to emphasize that all applicants need to be beyond the initial idea stage. So it's really important that applicants be able to clearly illustrate how they validated the magnitude of the problem they're working to solve, provide meaningful examples of progress that they've made towards launching the product or service, and that they have a commitment to working on developing the business beyond just the competition. One helpful exercise that I really encourage everyone to do is to carefully read through the evaluation criteria. This is the evaluation criteria that we use at the application phase, as well as by the judges on the day of the competition. And so you'll find the complete criteria on the VentureCat website, but they all fall under one of these four areas. So problem, value proposition and business model, progress and traction, and the people on your team. And should mention that we refer to students as a team, but we do allow students who are solo founders to participate and apply. And again, reviewing this information is just really helpful to understand how we are looking at applicants. But it's also really useful to gauge kind of your readiness to apply. And as you're looking through it, can you answer these questions and provide tangible examples that reflect back to the criteria that are listed on the website? And any areas where there are maybe some weaknesses, you know, there's still several months before the application opens. So those are things where you can kind of focus a lot of your efforts between now and when the application opens in March. So next, the competition is organized by 5 tracks. So you will apply. When you apply, you will apply to one of the 5 tracks you see here. We do tend to see the most applications submitted to B2B and B2C. So if you have a B2B company or B2C company that would also fall into, say, energy and sustainability or social impact, we strongly recommend that you apply to the other track, to the energy or social impact, rather than the B2B or B2C. And if you have questions about which track makes the most sense for you to apply to, we have some guidance on the website, and I'll go into a little bit more on the next slide. But you're always welcome to reach out to me as well, and I'm happy to help kind of walk through that process with you. So a little bit more on track selection. The two tracks that we seem to have kind of the most ambiguity around are the energy and sustainability track and the social impact track. And so, like I mentioned previously, if you have, you know, an energy or sustainability company that is a B2B company, we want you to apply to the energy and sustainability track. That said, we also don't want people kind of trying to shoehorn their company into a track because they feel like they'll have a better chance of getting in. And we've seen that kind of backfire on folks before. So I do want to encourage people to apply to these tracks. We want to have them in the competition. There are areas where there's a lot of great space for new companies to take root. But we also don't want students to try and kind of force their way into a track that they think might be a little bit more easy for them to get into the competition. So definitely do make sure that your company actually has, a significant energy and or sustainability element to it. If you apply to energy and sustainability, and the same for social impact, you want to have a defining goal that is really social impact oriented to apply to that track. You don't want to have it be kind of an adjacent area of your business, because a lot of companies do good, but it really needs to be kind of the core element of the company to really qualify as a social impact track company. So just some things to keep in mind. So another great way to learn more about the competition and also get ideas about how you might want to construct your own pitch deck is to look at previous public showcase recordings that we all have on the VentureCat YouTube channel. So we have several years going back, I want to say probably 5 or 6 years of the public showcase recordings that are available on the YouTube channel. And then there are probably, I want to say, around 30 or 40 presentations of actual pitches from the semifinals from when the competition was held virtually in 2020 and 2021. And so again, those are great ways for you to kind of see within your specific track, what are the types of things that those student teams talked about, and how did they, frame various different things about their business in a way that could be useful for when you're trying to develop your own pitch deck. All right, so next we're going to get into the 2025 timeline and details. So as you see here, the application will open on March 31st and will be open through April 10th. We will then have a period of where the applications are being reviewed by a panel of many different external and internal reviewers. We'll then announce the 25 selected semifinalists on April 24th. Then from April 25th to May 23rd, we will run the pitch prep program, where students will have access to mentorship and other resources to help them get ready for the competition day, which will be held on Wednesday, May 28th. So mark your calendars. We do require that everyone be in person for the competition. So if it's something that you're thinking that you want to apply to, we definitely recommend putting a block on your calendar now. The competition is an all-day affair for those who make it to the finals, but it's a good chunk of the day for everybody. So we generally have the students get to the building where the semifinals will be taking place early in the morning. And the 5 tracks will each have their own simultaneous semifinals, where each team in each track will present to a panel of judges within that track. Then there'll be a down selection process within each of those rooms where one final winner gets selected as a finalist for that track. We announce the finalists around lunchtime, and then the closed finals take place where the 6 finalist teams pitch to a different group of judges. And then that is immediately followed by the public showcase, where the 6 finalist teams then pitch again to a live audience of the whole entire Northwestern community. And it's, really, really exciting day, but it's a long day. So we do want to make sure that we emphasize up front that it is a full day affair, and you just want to plan to have the whole day blocked off in case you are one of those lucky 6 students that makes it to the end. In terms of the application, it's pretty streamlined. There are a handful of questions that you'll be asked to provide some information on about that all kind of tie back to the evaluation criteria. Then we'll ask that you provide a link to an elevator pitch video of you just talking to the camera, describing your business. Very low tech. We don't need you to have slides or anything, no animations, just very straightforward self-recording. And then the most important element is your 10-slide pitch deck that we'll ask you to upload. And, essentially in that, you're going to want to help the reviewers get an understanding of what your business is, and then that it has content that helps them see, the areas of the evaluation criteria, how strong is your company measuring up to some of those benchmarks. All right, so the next couple of slides are just kind of skimming the surface of the key program requirements and restrictions. The full eligibility requirements and official rules for the VentureCat competition are on the website. And I do really encourage everyone to read through those carefully, just so that you're walking into the application process with your eyes wide open. But on to some of the more significant requirements. The first eligibility requirement that I like to cover every time is that all of the applicants must have at least one currently enrolled degree-seeking university student who is a founder or co-founder who has substantial equity in the business. Okay. Your team can have outside people as well, but it needs to have at least one Northwestern student. And again, that person needs to have a co-founder or founder title and have substantial equity in the business. We don't have a, specific percentage amount that we require on our end, because that can vary very much business to business. But we do, want to see, if we do request to see your founder's agreement, it is going to be looking to see, the level of equity ownership that you have in the business, just to ensure that everyone that is participating is truly a fully engaged active founder or co-founder. Additionally, we do require all applicants to attest on the application that their team has or will have a signed agreement that outlines the equity ownership of the company by the VentureCat competition date. And there's some really useful resources on our website that I'll mention at the end. But again, this is just to make sure that we are doing our part in helping students understand what these types of ownership structures can be like, and that some of these, founder agreement discussions are happening earlier on in the process, to avoid any hiccups further down the road. All right. Another requirement is that all students who are semifinalists and participate in the VentureCat competition who receive a monetary prize, so who receive one of the big prizes, in order to receive that money, you will need to have a registered business entity, a US-based business entity, and be able to provide us with a completed W-9 with an employer identification number that's been issued by the IRS. And the reason for this is that all VentureCat prize money is paid to the companies, not to the individuals, okay? And we are prohibited from issuing payments to foreign entities, so it needs to be a US-based business entity. And we will be hosting a series of workshops in winter quarter, where we'll be bringing in lawyers for both help with students that are wanting to set up founders agreements or other legal business transactions that they want to take care of in order to apply for VentureCat or just to formalize their business, as well as international founder office hours with some attorneys as well. So stay tuned for information about those upcoming sessions that will be taking place through the garage. Oh, and one last thing, I always almost forget to mention, because the money is issued to a bank or issued to a company, we will need students to have a business bank account affiliated with their company. You can't put it into your individual account. Banks won't allow that. So that's something else to think about. Once you have a business entity set up, you'll also want to look into setting up a business bank account. And then the last two rules that I want to flag are that businesses that have raised more than $250,000 in equity capital are ineligible to compete in VentureCat unless the funding for that equity funding was raised while the founder was a current student at Northwestern. Okay. And I should say a current and active student, a currently enrolled degree-seeking student at Northwestern. And that business is founded more than 4 years prior to the VentureCat competition date are ineligible to compete. Okay, so this is, you know, an early stage venture competition. So we just want to ensure that the companies that are applying are less than 4 years. All right. So this brings us to our last slide. On it, I've included some resources that I think are helpful, some of which I've talked about directly during this session. The one at the top is one that I really encourage you to take a look through, the Northwestern Student Business Formation website. It has a ton of information on there about setting up business agreements, setting up business entities, determining what type of entity you want to have, setting up founders agreements, a variety of other resources. There's a list of competitions on the website. So it's a really great resource. The other thing is if you have questions, I highly encourage you to look through the VentureCat website, the student resources page, FAQs and official guidelines and rules, all have really useful information that will probably answer a lot of questions. Of course, if you look through that information and you're getting stuck, I'm always available. I have office hour appointments that can be signed up for on the website. You're also just welcome to reach out to me via email at venturecat@northwestern.edu. And last, this link for the VentureCat student email list, if you haven't done so already, please sign up for that. That is where you will hear about some of the upcoming sessions I mentioned and other important dates about announcing the application open and so forth. So make sure that you sign up for that listserv so that you're getting all the information that you need. And thank you once again for your interest in VentureCat, and have a great day.